Wel nou gaan ons verder aan en ons gesels met een van die befaamde senior, nee, meestersengelaars. Ek wil sê bietjie meer senior. I can almost say Uncle Greg. Greg, welcome. You've been to the Iberian Masters, and it is not the Masters as in age, although you might have qualified for that in any case. But it's a competition. Tell us a little bit about the Iberian Masters. What is it, and what's the purpose of it?
Okay, Vanna, the Iberian Masters, it's a biennial event held in Spain, in Europe. It's probably the largest independent event held over there. A couple of us on our Masters SA team decided to go across to check the venue out and to try and get some idea for the Worlds.
So was the Worlds and the Iberian Masters at the same or similar venue?
It was at the exact same event that the Iberian Masters was at.
Okay.
So that's why we actually went across there to see what it's like.
And how many anglers were there at the Iberian Masters?
The Iberian Masters, there were 78 anglers, and there were 4 of us from South Africa that went.
And the rest of the field, is it important anglers, good anglers? Is it only local Iberian anglers?
No, it's a fully international. I think there were in excess of 10 people from England. Most of the countries that were attending the Worlds had their full teams in the Iberian Masters.
So you had the likes of Tommy Pickering and Deschip, and I don't know whether he was there or who else.
Was there. Most of the top England anglers were there. The only guys that I didn't see there was Steve Ringer, Lee Carey, and who's the other guy? Jamie Harrington.
Yeah.
Which I was disappointed because I've been following Jamie Harrington, getting tips and all that jazz in Iberian Masters. So.
Okay, that's great. And obviously from Hungary and those guys, the Portugal guys were there as well.
Yes, the Portugal guys were there, the Hungarian guys were there. They were all there. Everybody that fished the actual Masters Worlds, they were all there. All the full teams were there.
How big was the zones? And were there sub-zones?
There were sub-zones. The zones were... it was quite nice because they had a seat and then a gap and then a seat again. So it was quite reasonable.
The actual space.
Yeah, no, it was awesome like that. Also because I think of the floods they had there, a lot of the places were actually washed away.
Okay. So, I think that river having a bit of a clean down is actually not bad.
Yeah, no, that river was very nice. A lot of snags, unfortunately, that were washed down. Yeah, you had to fish between the snags quite a lot, but everybody had the same issues.
But snags bring fish, eh?
They bring fish, yeah. The fish are all lying underneath the snags on the other side of the river.
Okay, let's talk performance. You did extremely well. You ended up in the 5th place overall.
Yes, that's right. Yeah.
And the event was over 3 days.
3-day event, yes.
Three-day event. So you had 3 good results.
Yes.
One day was slightly more difficult. What was the 3 days?
The 3 days, I got a second, and then I got a second, and then the last day I sat in a really tough venue. I was just fishing for a bite, basically.
Yeah.
And I managed to get a carp that day, and last one with like 3 minutes to go. I just tried to yank it in, but it was too late.
Yeah.
It broke my hook off. So, and that would have changed the result. I think I would have finished even higher.
Yeah. Okay, but still. 5th in an international
very
event
happy.
Is extremely good.
Yes, I was very happy with that. Very surprised as well, I must say. Yeah.
And what did you win?
Every time I finished in the top 5, I got €100, and then for coming 5th, I got €900.
So yeah, you walked away with a bit of a purse.
I came with a bit of money, yeah.
So what present did you bring us along?
Turkish delight, that's it.
Yeah. So. Tell us a little bit about the best day that you had in terms of results, and what did you do and how did you go about it?
Okay, the best day I had, I think, was the last day of the Masters Worlds. Or
Just Iberian.
Okay. I'd say probably the second day. I sat in a zone where the guy only caught 1 fish before.
And, on that peg?
On that peg, yeah. Yeah.
So what was your mindset when you went in there?
Well, I've been catching the fish in the practice days in a depth of 3 meters. So I thought when you find where 3 meters is, hopefully as close to the other bank as possible. And then fish, as soon as it drops off to the 3 meters, that's where I'd fish. And I found a great spot. As I cast across, it was probably about 2 meters from the bank on the other side. And if I just gave the rod a slight twitch, and then you could feel the tip go dum dum as it went down to 3 meters. Yeah. So I clipped in there, and that's where I fished the whole day. Yeah.
Okay, and bait, what type of bait did you use? What did you do with ground bait? What was the terminal tackle like?
Okay, ground bait I never used at all. As they gave it to me, I threw it away at the end. The main bait was sticky mags in the feeder, and I changed from 3 sticky mags to 5 sticky mags to sometimes.
Okay, just for our South African listeners, let's just explain to them what it is. So sticky mag, what he's talking about is maggots, myers, larvas van vlier. That's what they fish with. But they also use it as a ground bait or to feed with. So they've got a powder. Explain to us the process.
Okay, it's a powder. Basically what you do, you've got to wet the maggot slightly. But in doing that, you just wet your hand, you rub it through the maggots in your bucket, and then you wash your hand again and you wet it maybe 2 or 3 times. And then you put the powder in. Then you shake the maggots around, let them rest for 10, 15 minutes, and then pick them up and they
stick together. Yeah. So then you can make it little balls, and if you get it perfectly right, they don't even stick to your hand.
Yes, yeah.
And then what do you do with that? Press it into
the maggots themselves you press into your feeder. The feeders I found most success with was the bullet feeders, and you basically press them until you almost feel them popping. That they're so tight in there, and as soon as you let go, they must start coming out the top. Then you know you've got to cast quickly to get it on the other side. So
did you feed in the beginning as well, or
I fed 3 cages? That's it. I didn't overfeed.
3 cages in there.
3 cages, yeah.
And then you started fishing.
Then I started fishing
with sticky maggot in the cage.
The sticky maggot in the cage and normal maggots. We had red maggots and white maggots. So I'd use 1 red maggot and 2 white maggots, or 2 red maggots and 3 white maggots. I changed it.
So the contrast of colour was...
Yeah, definitely. You had to have a red maggot in there.
When we were in Spain the previous year as well, in that same river system, just a little bit further down, it was the same.
That's right. And the sticky mag was just plain white maggots.
Okay. No gravel, no anything else,
nothing,
just the maggots.
I didn't use anything.
Tell us about the mechanism. What did you do? Did you leave it? Did you leave it for long? Did you have to cast a few of them in? Or what was the thinking around the method?
On the practice days, we also were given a lot of advice by previous South Africans that had been there. And the advice was to sit with it, let it sit and wait 15, 20 minutes, whatever, before you pull in. I tried that in the first practice day, and I found that as soon as I pulled in, I was stuck. So I thought, okay, now am I going to leave it for 15, 20 minutes every time and be not fishing because your hook is snagged somewhere? So I decided that when I did catch a fish, it was within 3 or 4 minutes maybe. So I decided on every 7 minutes maximum, I'm going to rebait and cast. And I did that right through the whole of AM Masters.
And that's it?
That's it. Every time I cast and I caught a fish, it was within 2 or 3 minutes. It was a quick bite. So to sit longer than that, for me, was a waste of time.
How important were things like hook size, hook length, thickness?
Hook size was for me very important. I used only the Guru 12s and 14s. And the hook length was 50 centimeters, 0.017.
Okay, so 17, 12, and 14. What hook shape was it?
It was a Guru LWGF. Yeah.
Okay, so it's a thin wire.
It's a thin wire. It's got to be floating around. Yeah.
So the presentation was important. So
absolutely.
The maggots had to be quite natural.
That's right. Yeah. Absolutely.
Last question on Liberian Masters. How does it feel as a South African at your age of almost 70? Walking up there amongst all the world's best anglers and receiving an award like that.
Yeah, no, it was great. Like I said, totally unexpected, but it was great. The respect and everything I got from the people over there was totally amazing. It was an awesome feeling. I'll never forget it.
Okay, so after that, how confident were you walking into the World Champs?
I was pretty confident, pretty nervous, knowing that place, if you drew a bad peg, no matter what you did, you couldn't catch a fish. So I was confident but apprehensive.
But you knew what worked.
I
so
knew
you
what
were happy
I
with
was
that.
happy with that, yeah. I definitely knew what worked.
Great. When we come back a little bit later, we're going to talk about the World Championships.
100%.